On today's episode of Beards and Business, in the Beards section, learn about our beard oil and butter, Barber Shop, and its nostalgic scent. While over in the business section, we have an interview with Jeremy Turner from Applied Pressure.
All right, guys, what's up? As you can see, dressed a little different, so we got a different Beards in Business today. We're actually down in Florida. We're out here for our conference, G5 conference. Kind of alluded to that last week. So we're down here just getting ready to get blessed, and so that we can in turn be a blessing and just learn some new stuff, so that we can have amazing growth and just be better all around. So looking forward to that. We'll have a nice dinner with some great people tonight. Italian theme, so looking forward to spending some time with my lovely bride Jennifer and some old friends, and just have some great conversation, great food, great atmosphere, and just just be poured into over this weekend. So super excited for G5 conference. We've already had some great mentoring and leadership poured into us early this week about focus, learning to just focus on things. So that's why we're here focusing a little bit, getting this together, and we're looking at some new things that we're gonna be doing here in the business, as far as business to business and helping out with some other things. So super excited about that. So before we get into the business, the beards, and then turn it over to the business, want to talk about when you're out. For those of you that are in business, or those of you that are looking to start business, or whether you're in a 9-to-5 job, always be looking for ways to strengthen your relationships. Whether that's relationships with your coworkers to make them better people, or ultimately what needs to be focused on is relationships with your significant other and your family members. So look at ways to connect with them, to turn off work. Look at ways to do things that will bring you closer. And it could be as simple as a car ride conversation. It could be, going out to dinner. It could be, many different things, and it doesn't have to be elaborate, expensive things. So think of ways to tie back to your people in your business, your workers, to make them better, make them feel good, which in turn is going to lead to, you're going to get. It's a give to get. You reap what you sow. Sow into these folks so that they can sow into others, and so on and so forth, and grow. And you will be better for it, and you'll see in turn you'll be blessed, and you'll see exceptional growth. But specifically with your spouse, we've had the last couple days amazing. Was able to go out, have a nice meal with the wife at Disney Springs, walking around, just having some conversations, working on things to make this better, make Whiskermen as a whole better, and have a lot of ways to go. Need to learn how to say things a little bit better, but look at those things, and then always be looking for feedback. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna have issues that arise, but be willing to fix those to keep those relationships great. Because yesterday we had a great day, just the two of us. A lot of talk building our relationship, and we also were working in the business, and there was a few times that I said things that were not said appropriately, and then we come back and it feels like now things are even stronger because we aired out the laundry, and we're ready to move forward and rock and roll. So we're looking for some big things to come forward. So into the beard section of things, continuing with our scents. Today is one of the most nostalgic, old-timey, just filled with memories, which we so far we've kind of had. There's something tied to each one of these. Today is a barber shop. With a barber shop, it's that a lot of people come up to us and say in such a good way, "Man, that smells like my grandfather." That brought back a lot of memories today. It's that old-fashioned barber shop of just a nice, clean scent. And the beauty of the barber shop scent is, not only do we carry that in the oil, the butter, we also have that in a wax, and we also have it in the balm. We also carry it in one of our shave soaps. So this one is really open to lots of stuff. This is just one of those. It's just that old time nostalgic sense it's that blue stuff that they clean their stuff in, the baby powder. There's a little bit of everything going on. Nice collision of different things that are happening there. It's just an amazing scent. So with the as always, where you can get them, we're getting ready. As soon as we get back May, we're going to be starting up. The season's going to be kicking off with our great friends at the Heart of Centerville. We're going to be in the season. So you'll be able to find us out. We will always promote on our social media where we're going to be. I will do my best to make sure that we cover it here in the beard section. But follow us on social media. This way you stay up to date. But the weekend of May 17th, 18th, and 19th will be busy. We're actually going to have not one, but two. We're going to be jumping off with, we'll be out of Miamisburg. The Berg on the Spring or Spring on the Berg or something. I will get you I never get that right, but I'll put the details on our Facebook. You'll definitely be able to see that. And then you can always go to events on our website. So we'll be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then Sunday we'll also be with our good friends at the Heart of Centerville, Washington Township. We'll be at the first merchant market of the season, right there at St. Leonard's. So you can find us at 2 locations on Sunday, May 19th. So we're looking forward to that, to get off to a great summer start. So come out, shop. Come out to these places. If you've never been to some of these events, you'll find things that you didn't even know people make that you're like, wow, this would be a great addition to the home office or whatever. And shop local, folks. Shop local, shop small. Small business is your dollars matter versus big business. Your dollars don't really matter as much to them, and we're more personable, we're more caring. So definitely come to those 2 events. It'd be really great if you could stop to both of them. So, I really think that this week ties in perfectly. One, that we're down here at G5 conference at G5 Church, that we're being filled by the Holy Spirit's already come into our life and has kind of already spoken to us. God's doing amazing things, not only with us, but with folks inside, and we're touching each day, growing this business. So the hand of God is everywhere, and it just coincides with who I already had recorded and scheduled for this week. Our guest that we're about to turn it over to in the business section is very upfront with his faith. His faith speaks out about it. We have a little bit of conversation about that. And there's been a theme that you hear of folks that are willing to put faith out front, that you hear that their business is growing exceptionally well. And this is not a Bible thumping. This is not if you're not, if you're not a Christian, if you're not whatever, I am just sharing my personal beliefs. 1, because it's what I believe. 2, this is my channel. I can do what I want. Hopefully that doesn't offend any of you. If it does, this is not for you. But I just want to share with you like-minded folks, and that if you're even remotely close, that there is a common theme, that those have exceeded the most with the least amount of struggles. I'm not saying that they've been struggle-free, have faith and are tied back to God, and God is in charge. God is the real CEO in the company. And that's something that we've already learned, that we may not have had God as the CEO of this company. We haven't put him in that position as frequently as we should. So one of the things we're going to change in Whiskermen. But without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our special guest in our pre-recorded interview with Jeremy Turner of Apply Pressure. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to this edition of the business section of Beards in Business. I've got a special guest who's close to me out in the Ohio area, also a fellow veteran, so we've got a lot in common. So Jeremy, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience and a little bit about your business.
Hey, I'm Jeremy, Apply Pressure Washing and Restoration here. I'll try not to go too forward and back, that way the lights aren't everywhere. But my first business here is Apply Pressure Washing and Restoration. We do all sorts of exterior cleaning. Our main services are concrete cleaning and sealing, roof soft washing, deck staining, but we also offer house washing. Basically anything on the exterior can clean. Graffiti removal, oxidation removal, efflorescence removal, rust removal are some of the specialty removals that we do. Recently started 2 other businesses. So I've got a contracting businesses that's specifically for the multifamily industry, but we also will do residential if need be. Doing all things like roofing, gutters, siding, windows, concrete, painting. And then I got a permanent lights business where the goal there is just to be a manufacturer and supplier for other small businesses in the area, help them round out their seasonality, and kind of make it easier for them to retain good talent that they bring on and get higher average tickets, to make that journey in that first 3 years more survivable.
Yeah, that's so awesome, man, to hear those two new businesses of, I was reading somewhere that the average millionaire has 7 different sources of income that comes in that makes them. So you need 4 more, and then you'll be there. So that's awesome. So I know, having talked to you and stuff, one of the things is that you do pressure washing, which is, breaking it down to its simple form. But one of the other things that I think that's really cool that you offer that seems to have really blown up in the last maybe 5 years or so. I don't think I've ever heard of it until before that is, the season we just came out of, Christmas. You guys also do some stuff with Christmas lights, and I would assume, and I hate to do that because I know what it does to you and me, but is that where you kind of spun to where you're going with that last business that you kind of talked about?
Yeah, so the first year of Apply Pressure was just a massive test study, proof of concept. Second year was hiring systems and designs. In that second year, we started playing with how do we keep these people on that are going to align themselves with me year round, because we don't want to hire new teams every spring. That's no fun. So we came up with the Christmas light leasing program. Our first year with Christmas lights, we did 21 clients, made about 23,000. Going into our third year of business altogether was our second year of Christmas lights. We did about 59 lights jobs with 112,000 in revenue. And that's due mainly to that leasing model, which is an 80% retention rate, which is so good. And through that journey of those 2 years, we had a lot of requests for permanent lighting. And so what these other two businesses, they both did spin out of, I had a lot of people requesting me to take on these other jobs because they learned to like, know, and trust me, and we did great work. So what the contracting business and what the permanent lighting business was, I took partners with both of those businesses, and my whole role in them is just simply sales and processes, systems and processes and sales. And so it's mainly I'm servicing the same clients, I'm going to the same functions, and just each request gets kind of dropped in its own bucket, so to speak. So pressure washing clients, I'm in the multifamily industry all the time. Other people that I kind of rub elbows with, they want to be able to do permanent lighting, but it's a little bit of their price range. So being able to manufacture and supply puts it in the price range for them, to where they can still get those big profit margins on the installs. So yeah, it kind of spun from everything, kind of spun out of Apply Pressure. Exactly right.
See that to me just touches my heart of when you can take something that you created and you're doing a proof of concept and you're like, man, I really hope that this can, keep the lights on at the house and we can, put more care and love into this and grow it. And then all of a sudden you build that trust with the customer and they're like, we want more from you. And then boom, 2 other, things pop out of it. That's really special when you can do that. So now that we know a little bit about what you do and the 2 new pieces, why this? Why we've had conversations during Friday Coffee to where you're a sharp guy. You could probably be doing a million other things I could classify you into and say, Jeremy, be the dude for that. What made you want to go into this specific field and start this as a business?
So a lot of it is just about reminding people their value. That's my mission statement: remind people their value, improve the character of the city of Dayton through cleanliness. It's a great feeling to be able to serve somebody in that role. Just like Jesus was washing feet, we'll wash your homes. In the Army, I had a big old mouth, man. I got in trouble a lot, so I was cleaning nonstop. So the aspect of cleaning is just natural for me. And then I had a friend that I did this with, and when you're looking at lower barriers to entry as far as costs for materials, a lot of the stuff I built myself when I first started. So that was within range of someone that didn't have any money coming into things. It's a recurring revenue model. People are going to need their stuff washed every year. Other than that, it's easy to train. So all those things make it very, very appealing. And when you're looking at scalability, you know, that easy to train, that low cost in, and the competitive landscape of most people that are pressure washing just throw some equipment in a truck and they don't really have the business acumen or sense to develop a good branding and develop the good systems. So as far as the competitive landscape, I felt I could come in and kind of throw my weight around, so to speak, because of my background with my MBA and knowing everything from accounting to finance to statistics, understanding my numbers down to very specific numbers. So I think if you're looking for complexity in life and you're looking to scale, that complexity is going to come with scale. There's no reason to make the main thing you do very complex, because once you start going up and higher volumes and you start adding things in and you start looking at getting to a certain revenue point where you have support teams, that complexity will come with scale. So I guess all that kind of summed together is why this made sense. Cleaning is fun. Christmas lights is very dear to me. Everybody loves lights. And then, you know, going for those higher tickets now that we've qualified that we can do this with the contracting side.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I know that you started off with talking about how you just want to keep Dayton beautiful and clean. So I know that there's another special part that you do inside your business that's tied to giving. Can you go ahead and dive into that a little bit?
Yeah, so on a day-to-day basis, every technician is trained to basically give one more thing of cleaning that's on the work order, whether it's big or small. As far as a company, we give to the community through the Victory Project. We give 1% of donations, 1% of revenue we donate to the Victory Project. That helps disengage youth, find alternatives to the street. So the same kids that were from the same neighborhoods I was from, doing the same stupid things I was doing, it's kind of our way of giving back and helping people that may have been in my shoes have an easier route to go about it and skip making a lot of the mistakes that I made and hanging out with some of the people that I hung out with in the areas that I was hanging around. Other than that, we just do our best. I mentor a lot of smaller companies around here and a lot of 20, 24-year-olds, younger kids, and even a lot of older fellas that have companies that they may not understand how to hire or how to manage. So those are a few of the different ways that we give back to the community, and it's been really rewarding. And you know, you being a business owner yourself, you understand how busy you can get. So there's only so much you can give. You got to put your mask on first, right? But those are the ways that we found are the ways we like to do that.
Yeah, and you've hit two key things that were a little subtle that I want to make sure we pull out here. And you're a sharp guy, you'd be successful in anything you do, but I think the reason you're getting such opportunities is because of these two things. One is what you just talked about. You're giving back to the community that you were in, trying to help that other person come up and not go the other path. And then I think the biggest thing, and you know, I'm you know, have a lot of respect and am honored that you would say it in the beginning, was you talked about Jesus washing feet. I think there's a lot of people who are faith-based, but aren't willing to say that in a public, you know, forum like that, that having those two things, you know, if God's for me, who could be against me? Right. So you've got those two locked in, that I would go out 100% confident saying that if you said, I'm going to go do something tomorrow completely different and hand this off to somebody, you're going to be successful because of that mindset. So that is so awesome. And I'm just, you know, honored that you would share that. So, you know, that's really the business side of things. You know, I'll give you a chance at the end to wrap anything else in that I may have missed. But these are my favorite. This is my favorite part of the business section. So what is it that feeds you, that keeps you going forward? For me, I like to listen to audiobooks and learn and get those leadership lessons through that. So what is it for you? And then what would be something that you would recommend from what it is you use?
Oh man, I guess your support system is huge. Like you've heard the phrase, everybody's heard the phrase, you are the 5 people you surround yourself with. I keep a good defense on the influence that I let get into my mind and my life. I've gone so far as removing even family members from my life because they're just constantly negative, or they just don't have the right mindset. But you know what I mean? I think that's an important part of it. I think if we're talking about addition, I've brought people to my lives of people that I see myself wanting to be like, that have traits that I emulate. And it just so happens they're all Christian folks with businesses that are wildly successful. What keeps me grounded, man, I have a very strict workout regimen. My diet is intense. Like, I wouldn't say very, very strict on one certain thing, but I only eat like good whole foods, 2 or 3 smoothies a day, lots of water, vitamins. I get a massage every other week. Those kind of things are those things that I give to myself. Because I feel like you gotta be able to think clearly. You know what I mean? I stopped drinking. Here and there I will, yeah, of course, but it's not a normal thing. So those things kind of help. Those are your fuel, right? What keeps me in bounds would be like the support system around me that can check me, that can be honest with me, because not everybody's going to be honest with you and call you out on your crap. I love having people around that'll just disagree with me straight up and we can figure things out. Because having that radical transparency helps keep me in line, because you don't want to let your ego go unchecked, and you also don't want to be too crazy humble or have a low self-esteem. So you need people there reminding yourself like, hey, you are doing a good job. Like, don't get down on yourself. You're doing good. Or, hey, like you're getting a little too cocky, like relax. Having that is very, very important to me because I'm also a little bit manic and depressive. And so I've been able to hide that very well from the people around me. Some of the content that I like listening to, I love Alex Hermosi. I think he's a brilliant mind. Other than that, I like Jocko Willink, like right here. You know what I mean? A good book to read, The Talent War. So I like a lot of authors that were in the special forces. Because you know what I mean? There's a wide range of skills on the planet, but the same underlying factors that make people successful are those traits like drive, emotional intelligence, team ability, consistency, effective intelligence. That's a whole different type of intelligence. So those are all the things that kind of personally drive me. I used to box a lot. I don't have that anymore. I kind of gave up for that so I could get super targeted this year, super focused on my goals. Other than that, I'm in church a couple times a week now. So I think between all of that, it's really helped me keep an even keel in a world that's very, very much so like an entrepreneurial roller coaster. And already being like a little bit bipolar in a way, you know what I mean? That doesn't help at all. So that personal journey and finding all that, I prioritize sleep, man. I go to bed like at 9 o'clock at night. I wake up around 4, and the first couple hours of my day, I get the most high important things done that I don't want to get distracted from because nobody else is awake. So I roll out of bed, I get straight to the computer, have my smoothie here. I got my little I forgot to take my vitamins this morning. Look at me slacking. But that's just kind of the routine, the diet, the discipline in the gym, the jogs after you get your morning stuff done. You know what I mean? I go so far as to even have cold showers sometimes. It's all little stuff that it might seem extreme, but it's just the enjoyment of the process, and it helps. It helps a lot.
Absolutely. So one final question, if you could go back in time, and whether it's a personal thing or a business thing, what would you tell young Jeremy that could change either where you are now?
I've played with that question a lot in my mind. The first thing that comes to mind, what I would say is I would not have went to college. I got my MBA while I was in the Army. If I would have changed anything, I probably would have tried to like deploy as quickly as possible. But that's just because I never got to deploy and I feel like I didn't do my part. And I have a lot of guilt about that for, I don't think any reason. And I don't think I need to have guilt about that, but I do. I just feel like, I don't know, this may sound lame, but like as being a man, like every guy wants to go over and fight, you know what I mean? So that's a big regret that I've had in my life. But if I had to, looking back, you're like, man, what would you change? I don't think I really would, because no matter what, you would have went back and said, oh, I could have changed that, I could have changed that, but you wouldn't have had that same, aspect when you got to this point, because those things gave you the mindset that you have today. Like, I had to go through that period of time when I got kicked out of the house and I was living with a drug dealer to appreciate having hot meals. I had to go through the time of, you know what I mean, struggling to make it through college and sleeping in my army trench coat so I can appreciate having a bed. And so I had to have all of these things. That way, when I finally make a lot of money with the business, I can figure out that, okay, I want to put this towards the community and not just spend it on nice cars and a big house. So it's really made me who I am. And I think at the end of the journey, I'm going to have so much more enjoyment from where I'm at because of where I've been. So really looking back on anything, I don't think I would have changed a thing, other than maybe don't worry about girls so much. Stay away from the girls for a while.
That's awesome. And I want to dig into one thing. Whether, you know, because I'm big, and we've talked, I'm big about the military and veteran community. Whether you did years in Iraq, Afghanistan, or you supported at home, you played the vital part of freedom is not based off of a conflict or a location. It's about providing the service and support that you did while you were in to the best of your ability. So you are no more, no less, and you should never look at yourself that way of you put that, you were part of that 3%, it might even be less than that now, that said that that oath, went in and served your country. And serving, whether it's here or there, it makes zero difference, because you did what others didn't want to. So, you know, I want to thank you. I want to make sure that I publicly thank you for that on this podcast. So thank you for your service. And it means a lot, no matter what you did. You could have shoveled manure in Ohio, and you still played a part in keeping this country the greatest country and free. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for the sacrifices that I know that you made for this country. So now it's my favorite, and always puts me on the edge of my seat. I'm gonna turn it over to you. It's now your show. Any questions, comments, anywhere you want to go with this, the floor is yours.
I would say, so am I right by saying the general audience is people that are kind of like in business and going through that journey of the entrepreneur journey and everything?
Yeah, we're trying to hit those folks, and then also kind of mingle folks into knowing, like, I'm sure there's folks in the Dayton, Ohio region that don't realize you exist. So exposing them to you, and then also kind of mentoring that next generation.
So I guess this really is a fit all. If there's one thing that you could take away from everything we're doing right now, is that if you can develop a crystal clear vision, and if you can be if you can be genuine, be yourself everywhere you go, and don't be afraid to speak your mind on what you believe is truly what is for you. And if you can develop a clear vision on what you want for the next 5 to 10 years, and you just go out and you network your butt off, that itself will attract to you the unknown unknowns that are gonna reveal the doors for you on your journey. When I first started this, man, I was in a $3,000 truck that was the last money I had to my name, knocking on doors, begging people for an opportunity with all my stuff just thrown in the bed of the truck, renting equipment to get jobs done when I had them scheduled, building equipment from coffee barrels and marine batteries and a little off and on switch I got from Amazon, and plugging it all together with poly braiding to a Remco pump so I can put this solution on a house and rinse it off. Like, it was not pretty. But I always had a vision in my mind. And when I went out and I talked to these people about what I was doing, I received so much support from people, because they could just tell I was going to go after it, even if, like, no matter what, all day, every day, no matter what. This is burn the boats. This is what's going on. This is what I have in my head. And so when you have that, and you're showing that you're willing to, like, pretty much put everything on the line for it, there's things that open up around you that you never would have seen coming. I never would have understood what a good SEO person could do until my friend Mark Perone introduced me to one. I never would have understood what networking can really be about until I got into the H7 group. I never would have understood my niche is in the multifamily industry until I met Brian Woods, and he pulled me from H7 and put me over into the Greater Dayton Apartment Association. And eventually I became a director there because because I was just good at implementing a vision and systematically achieving the vision. So they put me on the membership team there, and we've been able to, I think I've brought in like 7 people in the past 2 months to join there. So like, if you can have a clear vision, and if you can have a clear why behind that vision, and if you can just do it, like don't get stuck in overanalyzing, just go out and start doing it, talking about it, whether you got to do it on the smallest scale or talking about it on the smallest scale, and just understand that this is an infinite game. This is not a finite game. There is no set rules with a win or a loss scenario. This is something that you are going to do until the success is there, and there's no quitting. Like, that is the formula for anything in life. The vision, the understanding that it's an infinite game, a strong why and desire behind it, and just networking your butt off and just doing it. Those 5 things together, anything you can do.
Yeah, if we had a mic, that would be the spot to drop it. That nailed it. You know, that's some of the best advice I've heard. And thank you for sharing. So thank you so much for being on the podcast. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you've got a lot of things to get done, especially, you know, with taking on 2 new endeavors. I'm sure your clock is always ticking. So thank you so much. And then to those of you that are watching at home, thank you so much for making it to this point of the podcast. We will see you here shortly.
All right, guys, what an amazing interview. Nuggets that Jeremy was able to drop on us, just phenomenal. Just such a great giving individual. You know, I encourage you to come out to the first merchant market. Jeremy will probably be volunteering somewhere, running around helping. You will get to meet that amazing man, and he's just so phenomenal, able to take and continue to grow his business into other businesses, and just an amazing person. So he's just phenomenal. So hopefully you come out and meet him at Merchant Market. So what a great, we look forward to, you know, more guests like that pouring into you. You know, if you like these videos, please, it helps me out greatly. If you hit that, you know, the subscribe button, hit the like, continue to watch, share these with your friends. Follow us over on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, follow us on LinkedIn. Continue to just be engaged with us. Give us feedback if there's something that you'd like to see. If there's a business that you'd like to be featured and you can link us up or whatever, we're open to those dialogues. So we're always growing, and we want this to be a community for you. I know earlier I alluded to that, you know, this is my show. I can do what I want. Absolutely. That's the beauty of, you know, being behind the camera. I can do that. That means that I can also take your inputs, and that's what I want. I want this to be a community focused. I want you to feel like this is your show just as much as mine. So give me inputs, drop your comments, send us messages, hit us up on our social media, but just stay tied in with us. I think we've got, I think we're going to be doing some really cool things over the summer. I think it's going to be really interesting to see where Whiskermen and ultimately where God takes this company, so that we can be a blessing of others, specifically to our community that we're about to talk about. So as always, folks, if you, big shout out to our first responders, our military, our veterans. If you can't get behind those folks, feel free to get in front of them. Until next time.